You better believe it. Oh, I sound like Lisa Rinna right now. Ew.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Ramona Ramirez Higgins. My dear friend and co-host, Margie McGee, is taking the month of April off. I can't wait to talk with her about all of this stuff. The Bravo news cycle it's still news cycling fast, ferociously, and hard, isn't it? I know I've been reading a lot online and people have been curious, are episodes being re-edited? Once they found out that West and Amanda were in a relationship, and as things continue to unfold, are episodes being re-edited? And last week on Andy Cohen's show, he has a channel on Sirius XM called Radio Andy. And on his show, I don't know, was it called Live with Andy Cohen or something like that? He said that they are still being cut. The ones that haven't aired yet are still being cut. Somebody that works in post-production posted something on Reddit that kind of gave a little bit of a breakdown saying, this is not, I don't know what the timeline is for the particular post-production company that does Summer House, but I can tell you, if it's any similar to mine, these are the timelines. So basically, what we can probably assume safely is that episodes need to be delivered 2 weeks prior to air. So like the one we watched last night, the one that aired on April 21, that was probably edited and cut after the news broke on March 31st. So just, I thought that was interesting. Also, in the time between me stopping taking notes this afternoon and sitting down to record this, I read that Sierra Miller has been cast on the upcoming season of Dancing with the Stars. I am so excited for her. I'm thrilled that she is on this trajectory. I hope she's thrilled too. Again, I cannot stress it enough. I do not want Sierra to be experiencing any collateral damage at all at the hands of Amanda and West, or anybody for that matter. But if these are her silver linings that are kind of coming up from it, I'm happy for her if that's what makes her happy. I'm not normally a watcher of Dancing with the Stars, but I absolutely will be turning in to watch Ms. Sierra because she's compelling and magnetic, and I'm on her side. Team Sierra. I laugh because I'm middle-aged and I'm saying Team Sierra, but it's really how I feel. So I thought that those were two interesting things you guys might want to hear about. And before I start talking about last night's episode, the episode that aired on April 21, I've been rewatching this season kind of in the background just because I'm still my mind is still blown. I still can't even believe how crazy this entire thing is. I shouldn't be surprised at all, right? None of us should be surprised, but it's gross. It's gross. I think it just speaks to that for the most part, we're all just earnest people out there wanting people that we like and respect and care about to succeed and not get hurt, right? I mean, maybe it's just that simple, right? Anyway, my point is that I've been rewatching some old episodes, and I think this is going back a couple of episodes. This is going back to kind of last week's episode and the episode before that, where Amanda and Sabrina were talking at Lindsay's housewarming party. So this is going back to episode 10. I think the reason why Amanda said that way off base, inappropriate thing to Sabrina, I think, the house is all joking that Ben's in love with me. I remember at Lindsay's party when Sabrina and Amanda, we heard them off camera have this conversation. They were mic'd, but we heard it off camera where Sabrina was like, I just want you to be happy. I've heard about your relationship and I just want you to be happy. And Amanda's subsequent confessional, she was like, are we all talking about my relationship? What's going on? And she was just super snarky. I think that was retaliatory. I think when she said that, she was I don't even know if she was being passive aggressive. I think she was just being aggressive and just being a jerk because she was really offended that Sabrina was talking to her when they were first meeting, which I can understand. Again, I'm not defending Amanda. I'm just saying that if it were me, I can absolutely understand feeling prickly if someone I've never met before comes in and is telling me about my relationship, regardless of whether or not what Sabrina was saying was true. I think that's understandable. I don't think that's bizarre. But anyway, I was just thinking, and maybe you guys already all figured that out, and it just took me 2 episodes to figure it out. But I don't know. Anyone else think that? All right, let's talk about the episode that we're actually here to talk about. This is Summer House, Season 10, Episode 12. This episode is titled Boys of Summer. So we resume post-party. We are in Sierra's room with Mia and Amanda. Mia and Amanda are comforting Sierra, who is still reeling from having seen her ex-boyfriend sit next to her on a chair and then proceed to make out with another woman. After all Sierra has been saying for the last 3 years is how important it is for her to be seen. And so for him to act as if he didn't see her when we know he did. We know he did because he said to Emmy, yeah, my ex is sitting right behind you. So we know that he saw her, literally. He just didn't see her figuratively, which is the way she wants and needs to be seen. She's made that abundantly clear. She's still reeling from this. And after a summer of them seemingly on the road to becoming friends again, or even maybe more, like she's devastated. We resume after that party, the Vegas party, okay? And then the heartbreak of this scene, the cruelty, the added insult to the injury, the salt on the wound of it all is Amanda telling Sierra the first words out of her mouth in this episode. You are seen. Specifically telling Sierra, you are seen. I see you. You are so loved. You are so important. And you deserve so much more respect than what you get. You truly do. Comparing that to what Amanda's actions in the last, well, I don't know. Will we ever find out what the accurate timeline is? We'll see. Ooh, this reunion, you guys. Can't wait. Can't wait for the rest of the episodes. I don't even care about the reunion yet. I just want to see the rest of the season shakes out. I mean, I do care about the reunion. I'm just saying that, like, I'm enjoying every moment. Not enjoying. I'm intrigued by every moment as we lead up to it. It's awful. Sierra is tearing up and she finally just like surrenders to her utter sadness and lets herself cry and be comforted by her friends that are there to hold her in this space. And she lays her head in Amanda's lap, and both Mia and Amanda put their hands on her to comfort her, and it was just heartbreaking. What must be going through Amanda's head while she watches this? I wonder what's going through her head as she watches. I can't even imagine. It just feels so gross to me. So the cast is getting ready to go to Common Ground and watch Kyle DJ. And poor Sierra, I mean, she looks stunning in her outfit, per usual, but her face, you can tell she is just, the weight of the world is upon her shoulders. She is preoccupied times 10, and she just looks sad and bewildered and disoriented. Am I projecting? Yes, but it's shaken her to her core. We're watching, you know what I'm saying. So we see montages of the cast partying at Common Ground. They're home a little bit before 1:30. Kyle drunkenly slurs to Amanda as they're both falling asleep. Thanks for coming out tonight. And he says, I love you. And she says, of course, love you too. Oh, it's just all so messy and full of mud and sludge and toxicity. And I can't believe it's on our television every week. Oh my God, this is crazy. So the next morning, the cast is waking up. Carl's cleaning the kitchen. Various casts are complaining about how hot it already is in the house. And Mia has a confessional where she says, it's interesting. In the last few weeks, I've started to dream about my parents a lot more, and it's been hard. Since my mom passed away, the last year or so have been me putting my head down and just doing what I have to do to survive with friendships, relationships, work. And that's the last thing my mom would want me doing. She wants me to live. She wants me to have fun. She wants me to experience life. She doesn't want me to just cry on TV. That's not my vibe. I'm really, really glad Mia joined this class. I love her. She's so compelling to me, and she's so earnest, and what you see is what you get. And I am just so grateful that she is on Sierra's side in this moment. Carl and Bailey are in the kitchen cleaning from the day before. He tells her that he has breakfast coming, and he impresses her with his fly killing skills. There's a huge fly going around the kitchen, and she tells him that she appreciates that in a man, someone with good fly killing skills. They are adorable. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with either one of them. They're a lot tougher to figure out than KJ and Dara are, but they've got their own path, and we're going to see, and they're being honest with themselves and each other as they trudge this road of flirting and relating to one another. And I think it's cute. I think it's cute and it's charming, and I'm happy to even see a scene of them talking about Carl and how he can he can slay a fly. Fly slayer. So imagine being asleep. You're waking up, you're sharing a room with your friend. It's hot. You're hungover from the night before. And imagine your friend is Jesse Solomon. And imagine that he is serenading you. And imagine he's singing to you like he sung to West, "Another day, another breakfast." I don't know if I'm getting that right. I'm sure I have friends listening going, "Bitch, are you kidding me?" Because you've probably woken me up saying some or singing some weird shit. I've definitely done it with my kid and my husband. So I'm just saying, imagine if it was Jesse doing that to you. Maybe you'd love it. Oh, I bet there's a cameo for that. I wonder if there's a cameo for that. I wonder if I should get Margie a belated birthday gift and have it be a cameo of him singing a breakfast song to her. Should I do that, you guys? Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should get Margie a cameo of Jesse. So Wes is in bed. He outstretches his arms, and Jesse thinks that he wants to help him pull out of bed. But no, Wes wants a hug. Wes wants a hug. And Jesse just says, he hugs him and says it's going to be okay. Because he knows he's in the doghouse, as Mia says later. So KJ and Dara are waking up, and he's checking in with her to see if she had fun the day before. And she said the girls have been great. And they even told me, hey, shout out to Dara and KJ for forming a relationship and not making it the rest of the house's problem. Because that is what we've seen historically on this show every summer when we have inter-house dating, starting in season 1 when Carl was a hellraiser. For people that are just watching, people that haven't seen Carl from season 1, I don't remember the first name of the Workus twin, but I do remember the Workus twin. Carl's come a long way, and I'm so here for it. But my point is that KJ and Dara have been relatively drama-free, and their castmates really, really appreciate that. KJ says that he wasn't searching for anything, and all of a sudden she just popped into his life. And in his confessional, he shares, "I never liked a girl this much. As much as this is different, I'm someone who needs to protect himself because I've been hurt very badly in the past, both in relationships and friendships. So I do have a wall up in the back of my mind. But when someone comes along who may be that person for you, and you have that wall up, then you ruin it unintentionally. And I don't want to do that with Dara." Okay, as the young people say, 10 out of 10, no notes. Does anyone say that anymore even? I don't even know. I wonder if my 10-year-old was down here if he would tell me I was being cringe. Or roll his eyes. We've gotten there. I now make a child roll his eyes at me with my humor and some of the things I say. It's extremely humbling to think one way about yourself and have a tween tell you unceremoniously with their face. No, dude. No. I'm humbled on a daily basis under the roof of my own home. So back in the kitchen, Carl is setting up breakfast. Obviously, we all know that the Uber Eats gift certificates and the sponsored content is vast and wide. And he used those funds to order a smorgasbord of hangover food for his castmates. Bagels, cream cheese, lox, pancakes, biscuits, eggs. From McDonald's, we've got sausage McMuffins, hash browns, apple pies. I mean, you name it, you got it. And Sabrina has made her way down to the kitchen. And we don't see a lot of her in this episode, but when she is on screen, she is genuinely often saying these extremely positive, uplifting things to everyone else in the house. And so last week when I said, last week when she's told Amanda that she genuinely tries to uplift people, maybe this is just her, I've never met anybody like that. That's just like constantly singing the praises of whoever is in their way, in their field of vision, in their space at that moment. And if this is a genuine personality trait, earnestly in Sabrina's makeup, that must be really, really lovely to be around. I wonder. Anyway, Ben's very lucky if that is how it is. So Sabrina sees all of this care that Carl has put towards not just ordering the food and the types of food. He doesn't even drink anymore, but he knows. He knows what the body wants when it's hungover. He knows what the body wants after a night of drinking. The care that he's put into the presentation of these foods, it strikes her. And she says, "You're going to be such a good father, man, and husband, Carl." And he says, "Thank you." And says, "I take pride in taking care of my family." And Bailey tells them both, "Well, that makes my heart flutter." And that's what I love about Bailey, too. She hears things and she praises Carl in the moment, which probably makes him feel really, really good about himself. And it struck me in this scene that Carl, whether he knows it or not, he has broken the cycle that he grew up in. His kids likely will not get spanked by a caregiver they're being raised by, like Carl was with his grandfather. I think that Carl has shared that he had a contentious relationship with his father. I know his parents are no longer together. He really does like his stepfather, and he and his mother have grown very, very close. We watched it over the last 10 years. These people are real. We've definitely seen Carl, warts and all, but that's massive. And if for some reason this little podcast makes it to Carl Radke's ears, I would just like to say a huge congratulations to you for doing that, because that's big, profound work, Mr. Radke. And if I ever saw Carl in real life, that's what I would tell him. I would. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll meet Carl. That'd be so great. Oh, I'd love to meet Carl. Anyway, upstairs, Dara and KJ come into Sierra's room to check in about the night before, and Mia has made her way in, as is customary. They like to get together and chat in the morning in each other's rooms. And Dara tells them that West got obliterated the night before. And as soon as KJ hears West's name, he's all, "Bye, going downstairs." And Dara shares that West couldn't talk about anything else, Sierra. You were the only thing on his mind. And in her confessional, Sierra says, "I think my true self wants to dive headfirst into the pool and say, let's be friends again. Let's just pick up where we left off. Let's giggle until 2 a.m. and be us. But I can't. I am scared to, because I know how much I put myself out there beforehand, that even in just a friendship, I don't want to feel like I've been bamboozled again." What do you even add to that? I think it would have been so easy for me. I think it would have been easy for a lot of us to, had we not known about what was going on, had this whole thing with Amanda and Wes not happen, I think it would have been extremely reasonable for us to all understand and support why Sierra had a guard up when it came to West, considering what he did after they broke up. But I hope that when she's looking back now, that she doesn't think, like looking back in the last 6 months, since from Christmas till now, or from last summer until now. I hope that she is now seeing maybe 100% of it wasn't just walls and being scared of being bamboozled, and maybe it was her gut. Maybe it was her gut too, And we always, always, always need to listen to our guts, whether you're on reality TV or not, right? So I hope that she is being reminded of that, or she has that thought cross her mind. I don't want her pathologizing herself, thinking that she just has walls up for no reason. She's so fucking brave. She's so brave. Mia tells Dara and Sierra Wes is in the doghouse, and Dara shares that she's really mad at him. And remember, this is a man that Dara also dated. She is familiar with how he moves. She's very familiar. The way West and the way Dara both describe their relationship in the rearview mirror, it was very different. Remember, she said West is a great guy unless you're falling in love with him. And West said it fizzled out between Dara and me, as these things do. Put a pin in that detached way he thinks, that detached way he removes himself and his behavior and his choices out of the equation of why his relationships end up the way they do. Because at the end of this episode, it was very apparent that he's very detached from his own behaviors, and it's to his detriment. Anyway, at the dining room table, most of the cast is eating, and Kyle thanks everyone for coming to see his set the night before. He said it wasn't his best set, and Amanda tells the rest of the cast how Kyle fucked up, apparently during the transitions or something. I just found that interesting that Kyle said it wasn't his best set, but Amanda felt necessary to point out exactly what it was that he was doing wrong. But I don't like her, so I'm going to point out what she does that's shitty. So anyway, Sierra enters the kitchen, and in his confessional, Wes says, "My main objective," this is so fucking infuriating, and again, it's missing the point completely. "My main objective still, every day, is don't upset Sierra. Like, don't hurt her feelings. We were kind of on a good track. All the slow progress we've made, even if it's just flirting after midnight, still helped me feel comfortable in this house. And to think I ruined it or anything else by making out with somebody I never met before just kind of sucks. Do you think? Do you think, West? I'm really glad you can see that. I wish I knew exactly when they taped these, their confessionals. It's recent. It's very short after. It's either like while the show is airing or right before it airs. So the show started, they came back on the beginning of February. So over Christmas? Maybe between like November and January? I don't know. Anyway, it'd be interesting to know when they record these, but I just, his lack of growth it should be studied. So Dara thanks the cast for making her feel so welcome on her first full official weekend in the house, and they all get ready to return to the city. Sierra's packed up, and while she's in her room waiting to leave, Wes knocks on her door, and he comes in to apologize for being a, I quote, shitty friend, and that he doesn't feel good at all. He's personally bummed because on a friendship level, things were pretty okay, and hopes he didn't fuck up whatever trust was built by the end of the summer. And she's kind of looking off to the side like, are you fucking kidding me? And she shakes her head and tells him, this is why I didn't want to be friends again to begin with. It just doesn't make any sense. And she says, listen, I want you to be able to live your life and be free. So let's just keep it at that. It's best if we're not friends. And Wes tells her, that's a lot harder for me. I've been closer to you than anyone here, and I really fucking jeopardize that. I apologize. It hurts me. I'm sorry. I would take it back if I could. He says, I'm not great at articulating myself, but I put so much effort into just trying to prove to you that I do care. It sounds like none of it mattered. You say you're okay with awkwardness. I'm not. It bugs me horribly. And at this point, Sierra is crying. Oh, God. I don't know that anybody is quote unquote okay with awkwardness, but I do think it speaks to people what their capacity is to kind of like hang out in an uncomfortable place without somebody else doing something to make them feel more comfortable or doing something themselves to make themselves more comfortable. I'm practicing this every day, several times a day, and it's not easy. My main thing to do is probably pick up my phone and scroll or procrastinate in some way, shape, or form. I am a dopamine deficient person. That's part of my ADHD. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't need to get into weeds about it, but West can't. He's having a hard time with it. He wants things to be okay between him and Sierra so that he feels comfortable. I don't give a fuck about his comfort. And he shouldn't give a fuck about his comfort either. If he's truly interested in repair with his friend, with this person and woman who he says he respects and misses in his life, then he would be willing to do whatever it takes, including hanging out in the awkwardness of it. This is how it is right now. It's awkward. It sucks. It's not fun, but it's for big kids to do. And I don't think Wes is a big kid. So at this point, Sierra is crying. And Wes says, I'm not good at pretending to not know each other. It takes a lot out of me. Oh, wah. And she's like, I don't have much to offer you right now. And so this scene was just so fucking fascinating to me. What I've learned in therapy, number one, is it's not Sierra's responsibility to ease. I just finished saying this, but like it's not Sierra's responsibility to ease Wes's discomfort right now. He's uncomfortable and awkward because of his choices at the Vegas party. And that's appropriate. I think that's an appropriate way for somebody to react to what they did, is having a high level of discomfort and itchiness. And number two, what I've learned in therapy, when Wes says that he doesn't want to hurt Sierra's feelings and that he has been for the last 2 years acting in a way as to not hurt her feelings, I don't know if I'm being nitpicky or not, but to me, that strikes me as completely disingenuous and not at all in alignment with what Sierra actually wants from her friends and her romantic partner, whoever that ends up being. It sounds like he's not actually interested in authentic repair with her. He wants things to be at a place where he feels comfortable in the house that they share during the summer. She requires that the people close to her see her in her mind, in her spirit, in her soul, and in her body, which is going to mean talking about race. So she wants to be seen. West fronts like he's all about repair, but he's only about feeling comfortable. Those are two very, very different things. When Josh and I watched the episode last night, after this scene, I told him the way that I mother and the way that I show up as his wife, as his partner, if I'm in a bad mood or if I'm stressed about something and I inadvertently take it out on them, part of my repair is to live in a way that shows them and behave in a way that shows them how I feel about them and how much I love them. It's not enough for me to just say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was stressed. Oh, I'm sorry. We're getting ready to leave on a trip for a week and I am running late. I'm stressed. I'm acting like an asshole." It's like that's not enough. The repair comes from me going, "You know what? They don't like it when I take my stress out on them." And my job is to behave in a way that expresses how much I love them and how I feel about them, which is that I respect them and that I honor and validate their personhood and honor and validate that we all share a living space and that we're all entitled to peace and safety under our roof and love and laughter and joy and space to have people be messy, like we're all entitled to have our feelings. It's just like when our feelings are such that they impede on one another. I know you know what I'm saying. It's like that's my goal. That's how I want to move. I don't want to just be comfortable in my house. I don't want my family to question for a minute how I feel about them. Does that make sense? So I'm not hearing that from West. It sounds like he's saying something else. So I asked Josh if he thought West was saying something else, and he just shared, Josh doesn't think that West is taking any accountability. And I asked him if it sounded like he's just trying to escape responsibility, like getting away with something, like not rocking the boat, or does it sound like he's actually interested in getting to know her again? And Josh just said that Wes is trying to do the bare minimum. And he said that he's breadcrumbing her. He is not willing to put his neck out at all. And he compared it to like fishing. And Josh is not a fisherman, but he said, you throw out your bait and you get a little bite and you reel it in. And West wasn't getting really any bites from Sierra. So instead of trying to reel her in anyway, he just let it go. He just kept doing enough to just see if she would be interested in the hook he was putting out. But if he wasn't going to put any more enticing bait out for her. He wasn't going to do basically he wasn't putting any effort in. Josh said the reason is that West is just doing the bare minimum so that he can avoid having his ego get hurt if Sierra doesn't end up biting on his bait, whatever bait that he's putting out. He's not willing to extend himself to get hurt. He's doing enough to pique Sierra's interest, but he won't do anything more because that would require him to be vulnerable. Josh thinks that if something else was to come from these little tiny things that West is giving Sierra, he would think that was great. But if he doesn't, he still looks like he put in the effort. Oh, God. I just think it's diabolical. I think it's diabolical and disgusting. And I think that this is why she can't trust him. I think her gut is probably telling her more than what she thinks is chalking up to her fear. She can probably sense that he's not coming from an authentic place and he's not interested in seeing her, or he wouldn't have fucking done it with Emmy in the first place, right? So the cast leaves the house, then go back to New York. And on the following Thursday in the city, we see Sierra sitting on a stoop and Mia and her brother Nick walk up. Nick is darling. He has a really fucking cute outfit on that I bet you anything West will try to copy at some point if he hasn't already copied it. Mia tells us in her confessional that Nick is the best thing her parents could have given her. He lives 4 blocks from her. She's trying to get him and his girlfriend to move into her building. And his lease is actually up this month, so I wonder what's going to happen. And that's how close she wants him to be. They're extremely close. So we learn that they're outside of the medium's house that Sierra told her that she would take her to see. And both Nick and Mia are excited. And Nick says that, and he looks at his sister when he says this, and he puts his hand on her shoulder reassuringly and says, I hope this opens some doors for Mia mentally. And he seems really concerned about his sister. He knows that she's having a really hard time right now and she's feeling extremely stuck. And so we learn that Sierra met Tiffany the medium in Costa Rica after her grandmother passed away and that she really helped Sierra. In her confessional, Mia says, my mom died suddenly. She had pneumonia. She had an autoimmune disease that affected her lungs and her heart, so it made the pneumonia worse. I never got to say a proper goodbye to her. So I'm looking for closure with my mom. I need to know that she's okay, and maybe that will help me move on. So we meet Tiffany, and she tells us she's a spirit medium. She communicates with people who have passed, including friends, family, and pets too. And she tells Mia and Nick emphatically, I have no control over who comes through, so please have an open mind. But she does share with them straight away she feels a female energy. And she tells them that she's there sitting between Mia and Nick. And this female energy is referring to Nick as her baby boy. And she's referring to a necklace. And Mia and Nick both agree this must be our grandmother. So Tiffany says right away there's 2 females. And the other one is saying, you need to know I'm okay. I'm working to come to you in your dreams. I know you keep on asking me. So we all know that this is Mia's mother because of last week's episode where Mia shares with Sierra that she had a dream that she's been having more frequently lately where she's begging her parents to come. Oh, Mia. So Mia is crying and Tiffany says this energy is saying that she can breathe okay and she's happy. She's so happy. Sierra is now crying too. And Tiffany says this energy is calling you her beautiful girl. And she's saying to tell you about how proud she is of you. And she's also asking why you had to take a picture of my hands. And Mia took a picture of her hands because she wanted to remember what they look like because everyone used to comment that they had the same fingers. And she wanted to remember once her mom passed away. And they all laugh at this. And Mia asks Tiffany if she can get a sense from the female energy. Do my parents think I'm on the right track with life? Am I doing what I should be doing? And what Mia's mom tells her through Tiffany is to have more confidence in yourself. Tiffany asks, do you know why, she would ask you this? And Mia says, my mom and I had a plan. She was going to move to New York and live with me. I was going to have a baby, and it was going to be us. And Mia's upset because her mom didn't follow that plan. And Tiffany tells her that her mom says, don't worry, you're going to have a baby girl. And Tiffany's like, your mom's going to be sending you a baby when the time is right. And Mia and Sierra are crying. And Mia is just like letting this information just settle into her body. And Nick has his arm around her and comforting her. And Tiffany says, listen, this woman is saying that the plans are still on. You just haven't arrived at the station yet. So I really hope that this brought some peace to Mia. And I know that mediums can be a controversial subject. I happen to personally believe that there are people that are more in touch with energies and realms that I am not in touch with. And I feel that if speaking to people that have those talents brings someone peace and joy, calm in their heart, maybe an answer of some sort, what's the harm? I don't know at all. I've had too many readings from mediums that have been so right on the money about things, and I've heard other people's readings with mediums that have been so right on the money about things that I'm like, who am I to say? Who am I to say that doesn't exist? So elsewhere in the city, West has arrived at 82 Stanton, and I'm like, oh my fucking God. Remember about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, I don't know, that Dara and KJ went on their first date here, and I thought it was Staten, like Staten Island. It's Stanton. It's not even comparable. So I said, why are they calling it Stanton instead of Staten? It's just not even the same thing. So I apologize for thinking that I knew what the fuck I was talking about when I didn't. Maybe it was just my ADHD that locked in and saw the stat and the ends and was like, oh, it's Staten, and they're trying to make it cool. I don't know. Anyway, so West is there to help with an organization called Every Last One for an adoption / foster event for dogs. They're going to do fundraising and hoping that about 5 or 6 dogs get adopted. So in his confessional, West shares he grew up on a farm where dogs ran free and doesn't feel comfortable having a dog in a New York apartment because of that. But he likes to feel part of a dog family, and how he can do that is by volunteering. So good for him. Although I have to say, and again, I don't like him, he did look like he was like, when he walked up, like, oh, God, I got to do this thing. Projecting, totally, but that's just what he looked like to me. So Kyle and Amanda show up to help and support, and Kyle goes to the bar to get drinks for the 3 of them while Amanda keeps West company while he sets up the step and repeat. And she asked how this week has been, if he's had a heart and if he's had time to reflect. And he said he's had the scaries, which I would say is appropriate given what he did. If he didn't have the scaries, that would make him even a bigger piece of shit than he is right now, right? I think so. So Kyle delivers Wes and Amanda their drinks and then conveniently announces that he left the bar, so he disappears again conveniently so that Amanda and Wes can continue their conversation alone. This scene had a lot of people chatting. And I don't know if I just am not missing it because I couldn't see it or what, but like, I don't know. It did seem like Amanda was earnestly asking him these questions, but I also don't trust either one of these people. I don't know if there was an ulterior motive going on. It definitely I got that sense the previous episode when Amanda went up to interrupt the conversation that he and Emmy were having on the lounge chair when she said, watch my butt when I walk away. That I could totally see was Amanda was jealous, and that's why she was having that conversation, not really there on behalf of Sierra. The one before the adoption event, I'm not sure. So what she does say is she tells him that what upset her most about what has happened the week before is that he's been such a good friend. She says, West, you've been such a good friend to me all summer long. And it bothers you so much when Kyle disrespects me. So to watch you disrespect Sierra in that way, it puts a weird dynamic in place. Okay. So weird dynamic, like that feels so vague. I do really, really poorly in vagueness. I do terribly in vagueness. I like spell it out in all caps, italicize, bold, whatever. And I appreciate when things are spelled out for me. It makes me feel a lot safer when I don't have to figure out what you're trying to tell me. So what dynamic is she talking about? Like, listen, I love you. You've been sticking up for me, but now I have to stick up for my friend. And that puts me in a weird position. Whereas I would have been like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? What were you thinking? What were you doing? How can you possibly justify this? She does not have that energy, which is disappointing. If I were Sierra, I would be disappointed watching that. I mean, I'm saying if we don't know what we know, I would be just disappointed. I'm knowing now, it's not good enough. Wes says he does realize what he did. What's getting him, though, is he doesn't know what he jeopardized. Did I jeopardize a friendship? Did I jeopardize a romantic rekindling? Does it fucking matter, dude? Does it matter, West? Gross. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. If you care about this person and you want to be friends with her, you should be concerned with the preciousness of the progress that you've made, not what am I progressing towards. It just feels a little selfish to me, and it doesn't feel, again, like it's based in actual wanting to repair. It feels like it's based on him wanting to know where he stands, wanting to have things be comfortable. It sounded arrogant and entitled. What did I jeopardize? So Amanda does say, and she's got this real weird smile on her face when she says it, well, the rumor has it that you and Sierra are super flirty at night when you guys all go out. And she's kind of looked at them with like this expectant smile. And it was just strange. And he asks Amanda if she has any advice. And she says, don't go silent, take accountability, apologize, no ifs, ands, or buts. Well, I mean, he didn't take it. People might think that he took it. I don't think he took it. So the next day is Friday. Mia, Scott, Dara, and Sierra are in one car en route back to the Hamptons. And Scott, if anyone needs a reminder, is Mia's boyfriend. And he is constantly in other cities working. He's a restaurateur. So he has a restaurant in New York. I believe he has one in LA. And he's just recently opened one up in Miami. And part of what Mia has been struggling with since we've met her is the fact that she does not see her boyfriend very often. And it is hard for her, especially as someone who loves him, but also wants to start a family. So she's grappling with a lot when it comes to thinking about Scott. So Sierra asks Scott, you're for the girls this weekend? And he says, I'm a guy's guy, to which all three men in the car go, ew. And it was hilarious. And he says, listen, I want to do some cocktails. I want to throw the pigskin around. And Sierra and Dara are like, what's a pigskin? And even I know what a pigskin is. It's a football. So in another car, Carl, KJ, West, Jesse, and Ben, and all their luggage. I don't know how. I would love to know what it's like to just throw some shit into a duffel bag, 2-foot wide duffel bag, just throw it in a fucking car. Hair products, skin products, supplements I take, all the other shit I need, shoes. Just throw it in a car, just one bag. Just one bag for 2 days, 2.5 days, just one bag. Okay? I might not ever know, and that's okay. That's all right. That's okay. Because there's maybe like 2 people in that car that you know how I like to say I wouldn't trade places with XYZ. I don't want to even trade places with Carl or KJ, but I'm just saying that like those 2 are the ones that I would be the most interested in trading places with if I was forced to trade places with people in that car, to know what it's like to pack light. Who gives a shit, you guys? I'm very sorry. I'm so sorry you had to come along with me on that one. That's not okay for anybody. I apologize. It's not fun in this brain. I'll tell you. It's often extremely arduous and oppressive. So Jesse says in his trademark Jesse way, well, guys, a bit of a boo-boo last weekend. And they all kind of groan in response to West's diabolical choices the previous weekend. And West tells them, hey, Amanda told me I should apologize again. And KJ says, you can only apologize so much. And this confuses West a lot. And he's like, so like, just don't apologize again? KJ's like, no, what I'm saying is your actions speak louder than your words. So yeah, you can say you're sorry 10 fucking times, but if every weekend you're making out with a new Emmy sitting next to Sierra, you don't really mean it. So I talk about this in therapy a lot. The goal for me, ultimately, is to fundamentally change any behavior that would possibly result in needing to apologize. Don't fuck up in the first place. But what I'm saying by don't fuck up is that like, don't do the harm in the first place. I'm talking about like things I know I do, like what I referenced earlier, like getting ready to leave on a trip. And I'm just like, out of my mind because my brain is extremely ill-equipped when it comes to doing a task like that. I practice doing healthy things rather than splattering. That is what I do. I don't know if West wants to do those. I don't think West wants to do that. I think he wants to, like, the fact that he even made the choice to sit next to Sierra knowing this person was going to sit on his lap. What? Oh my God. That feels like beyond hope for me. I don't know. If Margie were here, what would she say? What would Margie McGee say? What would Margie McGee do? So KJ just says what I basically said, like what I said so uneloquently. He said, move accordingly. West insists for the third time this episode that he has been moving accordingly for 2 years. And I don't agree with that. So back in Mia's car, Mia shares that Scott will only be there for one night because he has to go back to the city on Saturday for work. And Sierra asks him how his Miami restaurant's going. And he says it's great. He's getting great feedback. And he's looking forward to going back there in a couple of weeks. And the camera people move on Mia's face to catch her reactions as he's saying this. It's telling us a lot. She doesn't seem happy to hear this. And he tells them, I know Mia's not happy about that. And Sierra asks him how long he's going to be in Miami. And he says, TBD. And I gasped. I went, oh God, this is not going to get, this is not, I feel, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're together or not anymore. I don't know. I don't know if it's on social media. That information could be very readily available to me, and I haven't looked it up yet because it's like, it's not my business. And also, I just want Mia to be happy. And if that means staying with Scott, great. And if it means that she's moved on, I'm happy for that too. So Dara shares with her car mates that she and KJ went official that week. KJ asked her to be his girlfriend last Sunday. And so the day that they left the Hamptons the previous weekend, and they are exclusive now. And Mia asks, do you think it's too fast? And Dara says, look, we feel like it's right and we both know what we want. And like in my own life, you know when you know. And yeah, sometimes it's fucking fast. And that is just how it goes. We were engaged 3 months minus 1 day after our very first date. And we just knew. I don't know, decolonize timelines? Recognize that everybody is on a different path? Who said it's supposed to be slow? Now, can I also recognize that when people move quickly because they're in that chemical phase that's around for, I don't know, what does Margie say? It's 90 days. What does she say? It's like, it's a specific time that those chemicals are really in the driver's seat. I don't know if that was the case for me and Josh, though, because we lived 2 hours apart. We could only see each other on the weekend, and not even every weekend at that. Like, there was one time when we had to go a weekend without seeing each other, and it was really hard. It felt really hard. We talked on the phone a lot. That was our story. It just went the speed of Josh and Ramona. This is the speed of Dara and KJ. I'm annoyed on their behalf that they keep getting asked this fakakta question, but I'm also projecting. So Kyle, we learn, is already at the house. We see him on the patio talking on the phone to Amanda, who's telling him that she's not coming out. And the car full of guys arrive, and they joke about how many dudes are there, and they notice that Amanda's not there. And Kyle tells them he just got off the phone with her and that she might not come later. And she's probably not coming at all. And even though he tried to sell it to her as their second to last weekend. I don't know, man. Dara, Mia, Sierra, and Scott arrive and meet the rest of the crew outside. Mia reintroduces Scott to everyone, and Sierra asks Kyle where her girlfriend is, meaning Amanda. And Kyle's kind of surprised. She didn't tell you? She kind of bailed. And Sierra asks why. And Kyle tells her, and I quote, well, she really didn't give me a good answer. She's kind of on the struggle bus. Oh, my God. And no matter how many times I watched that scene today, my blood pressure did not decrease every time I heard him say, she's kind of on the struggle bus. Regardless of my personal opinions or feelings about Amanda, to hear the partner of someone with depression or mental illness of any kind describe them as being on the struggle bus really rubbed me the wrong way. It put a low boil of rage in me as well. I'm not going to lie. Like it activated me. I was pissed and disgusted with Kyle, to be honest with you, when I heard him say this. Depression and mental health challenges in general still carry so much stigma and are still seemingly taken so much less seriously than physical health challenges It's careless and thoughtless, judgy and critical language like this that keep people struggling with their mental health in silence. If it's like, oh, fuck, my arm is broken. Oh my God, let's get you to the hospital. Let's get you in a cast. You're not saying, you and your arm are on the struggle bus. Kyle. No matter how shitty Amanda and West act, Kyle he still acts shitty too. We have this human tendency, I don't know where this comes from biologically, I don't know how we evolved to do this, to like something good, other thing bad. Kyle's been getting so much empathy, and I'm not saying that people aren't worthy of fucking empathy and deserving of empathy. That's not what I'm saying. I am just saying that, like, what a shitty thing to say. And if I look at my mental health struggles, my husband would never describe me to somebody else, especially one of my fucking best friends. Well, Ramona's, she's on the struggle bus. It's so callous and gross. I mean, I still carry a fair amount of self-judgment and self-criticism about my own depression and the way it manifests, and for sure my ADHD and how that manifests. Is that a safe space? Is that a safe space in which to recover from mental illness? You're on the struggle bus? Am I going to feel okay to let my guard down? Am I going to feel like that person is someone that I can really recover around? I don't think so. Terrible. Unfortunately, I could also relate to the choice Amanda made to not tell her friend that she wasn't going. Again, this is not about Amanda. It's about the choice she made. It's about what she did. It's about my isolation. I recognize that isolation. Like, I can imagine what it's like to be Sierra and learn, what? She's not coming? Why didn't she tell me? Why don't I know about this? Well, because me, the depressed person on the other end, can't fucking make the call, can't even send the text. Why aren't you coming? I can't handle it. I can't do it. I'm too depressed. What's going on? God, wish I knew, And then having to have someone say, what can I do to help you? I'm sorry to hear that. And then you're like, yes, I understand. Like, the only thing you want to do in that moment is just not talk to anybody. Not talk to yourself and not explain what you can't explain. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it. My point is that net, Kyle's description speaks volumes on his lack of care or support for where Amanda is emotionally. And when I say Amanda, I mean a woman with depression. Okay? I'm not defending this person. Okay? Please don't get it twisted. I'm speaking to being the one that could be described as being on the struggle bus when one is in a depressive episode. That's who I'm speaking about. So Sierra lovingly teases KJ that she heard he has a girlfriend, gives him a hard time, says, it's been a whole week since it happened. You didn't tell me. And she's like, how do you feel? And he's like, I feel the same way I did before we were official. And then we see a scene where Mia, Sierra, and KJ are all sitting together. And he asks the both of them, do you have any questions or concerns? And Sierra shares, again, I just think it's a little fast. I want you to brace yourself and I want you to walk cautiously. And these are valid concerns and probably wreckage. And Sierra says she's speaking on dating while being in several share houses. And we need to remember that she's dated Austin on Winter House, Luke in this house, and West in this house. She's been through some terrible things with reckless, terrible white men, both on Summer House and Winter House. And I would also invite everyone to heed what KJ said in the car earlier. Actions speak louder than words. And he and Dara's actions thus far, they don't seem sus at all. But I also validate very much where Sierra is coming from. And she's coming from a very nuanced, layered places. And she also says, I don't see anybody going anywhere, meaning she doesn't see any threat from Dara that she's going to play KJ and then just leave. So there's no rush. But ultimately, this is up to KJ and Dara. In my opinion, in my observations, nobody's red flagging in this duo like Jesse did with Lexi, for Christ's sake. This is so not that. KJ and Dara seem, oh my God, benign and boring compared to that. In the best possible way of being benign and boring. And Mia echoes what Sierra's saying, that they're just checking in. She trusts KJ's judgment and she trusts him and his feelings. But, they also point out that Dara is older than him and want to make sure that everything is okay. And I do love how the three of them are there to take care of each other. And I understand why they have to do that. And I understand why they want to do that. So by this time, evening has fallen. Sierra is in her room FaceTiming Amanda to figure out why she's not coming. And Sierra says to her, dude, there's 7 boys here and only 3 girls, and I'm going to kill you for not coming. And Amanda says she's sorry, that she just can't do it. The idea of going out there is just overwhelming her so much. And in her confessional, Amanda says, obviously this summer for Kyle and I has been so rough so far. And I feel like it's sort of catching up to me at this point. And I've been showing up with a smile on my face every weekend and being the joyful, bubbly Amanda. I'm sorry, joyful and bubbly? Is the joyful and the bubbly with us in the room now? I've seen snarky. I have not seen joy, and I haven't seen bubble. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bitch. I don't know. Has anyone else seen joy or bubble? Not me. So she says, being the joyfully bubbly Amanda and trying to power through it all. And it's to a point really where I can't take it anymore. And I just need to be alone right now. And Sierra tells her that she gets it. And Amanda asks if Wes has apologized since he got back to the house. And Sierra says, fuck no, right as Wes approaches the door to apologize. And he knocks on the door. She lets him in. And he realizes she's on FaceTime and offers to come back. But Sierra says, no, you can continue. And he says, you don't have to reply, but I just want you to know that after a week, I'm pretty bummed out about everything and I apologize. That's it. And he leaves the room. Oh my God. How unsatisfying. Why bother, dude? Why bother? Amanda and Sierra laugh about it. And Amanda says, dude, I'm so sorry. And they hang up and Sierra says out loud to herself with nobody else in the room, he wouldn't be in the situation if it wasn't for his dumb ass. No, he wouldn't. Choices. And Sierra in her confessional says, here's the thing. I don't hate him, but it's really hard to keep up the front that I do. And it's just getting exhausting. At this point, I just feel like I've built up stories in my head about who he is and the things he's done. And I'm sure he's built stories in his head. And we should just talk and put it all out there. Ooh, stories, you guys. Stories. Stories. Stories do so much damage. Stories do so much damage, and I understand why my brain wants to make up stories because it keeps me safe because I think I know what's going on, even if the stories are super cruel to me. 9 times out of 10, the stories are completely way, way off. Way, way off. And it's my fear and the protective coping skills, the protective managers that want to come in and like keep me safe and try to make sense of things. I've done a lot of workshops. Oh my God. Week-long workshops about stories. Yeah, it is a practice. What is the story? Am I telling myself a story? Am I believing a story? We talk a lot about stories in this house. I really appreciated her bringing up stories. Sierra is kind of like thinking it over and she ends up going into Wes' room and asks if he's alone. Wes says, Jesse's in here. But she's like, okay, well then do you want to go get coffee in the morning? And he says, yes, I am RSVPing, yes. And as soon as she leaves the room, Wes goes right into the bathroom where Jesse's taking a shower. And he's like, she said we can get coffee tomorrow. So he's very excited about this. All right, did anybody else hear this? So they're all getting ready to leave for the club. And I know that KJ called for Dara. And I believe I heard Kyle's voice off camera saying to KJ, strong arm that girl in regards to Dara not being outside when the cars were there. Fucking gross. That's not funny. Don't say strong arm that girl. Ew. Do not say strong arm someone. Oh my God, it's so fucking annoying. She's going to be late. We're going to be late. The cars are here. Can we just go? She can get into the car. Strong arm that girl? Fuck off. I can't prove that that's what he said, but it sure did sound like it. Listen, if you rewatch it, listen. Did he say strong arm that girl? Gross. So we see a montage of the cast partying at the club. There's shots, there's dancing, content filming, yada, yada. And they all come home and rush for leftover Chinese food in the kitchen. Kyle is wasted, but he's having a great time wearing ski goggles and spraying himself and Ben with the kitchen faucet. Personally, if I was home after the club and I'm eating some fucking Chinese food leftovers, If I'm getting sprayed by water by one of my friends in the share house, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to be pissed that you got my hair wet. I'm going to be pissed that you got my clothes wet. I don't like the drops, the way they feel on my body. Don't do that to me. But whatever, Kyle. Kyle and I have very different ideas of fun. Ramona, not fun. So in his confessional, Kyle says, here I am, for the first time in a long time, feeling a little more lighthearted, feeling a little like myself, drunk in ski goggles and wet. And it's because my wife is nowhere to be seen. And that is a rude awakening. And it makes me realize how fucked up we really are. Ooh. Okay. So Kyle and Ben sit down for a chat in Club Send It after the rest of the cast goes to sleep. And Kyle tells him, basically, I felt really bad for the first couple of weeks. I feel like you saw me at my worst. And Ben says, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't think I've seen you at your worst. Don't think I'm judging you about anything. Everyone goes through troubles in relationships. I'm not looking at you going, that's who you are. Mate, I know exactly who you are. And I felt like I could really relate to Ben watching this scene. When he told Kyle emphatically that he doesn't define Kyle by his marriage or business struggles, it seemed really emotionally evolved to me. It seemed very devoid of ego. He wasn't just going through the motions. He wasn't just saying like, oh my God, dude, don't say that about yourself. Like he had a visceral, physiological reaction. And he was all but like taking Kyle by the collar and like shaking him like, dude, that is not what I'm doing. That's not how I see you. And it seemed like such a contrast to how defensive he can get, like with Bailey or with Sabrina. We saw Ben in this scene be capable of big empathy and lack of ego. And we've also seen him throughout this season when someone taps on an insecurity, really get defended. And like I can relate to that. If I'm feeling super down about myself in a moment, in a snapshot of time, or insecure, or really afraid of being misunderstood, and I'm defended, I haven't slept enough, I'm hungry, I'm whatever. I can go to that place of like assuming that I'm being laughed at, like he was with Sabrina, or getting overly defensive with someone like Bailey. So it's like, I want to like put Ben in this all or nothing kind of a box. But when I saw this, I was like, okay, he is capable of no ego and empathy. And then I started to second guess myself. And so I had to text Josh while I was taking notes. I'm like, do you think that he was on a heart opening medicine, like something like MDMA, probably what those kids would call Molly? Like, do you think that's what it was? And Josh thinks he was just drunk. I am 110% empathetic at my core, in my bones, probably to my detriment at times. I personalize other people's pain. I am empath AF. So I can show up for my dear people when they need it. I'm there to remind them of the truth about themselves. And I saw that in Ben as well. You know, that ferocity that he had when Kyle was putting himself down. Who knows? I'll never know. I'll never know what substances they were on besides alcohol and if that had anything to do with it. But I'm just projecting like we do. The last scene we see that night is Scott tells Mia that this crew that they all have is crazy. And he's not wrong. If I were him, I would be like, bye, the next day, back to New York. So Saturday morning, August 23rd, 9:16 a.m., we hear an alarm go off. Carl is meditating, as he does. The rest of the cast is waking up. They're getting ready for their boat day. Scott and Mia are talking in the bed. She says that she wishes he could stay for the boat, and he wishes he could spend the whole weekend together. And in her confessional, Mia says, grief is paralyzing at times. I know this is heavy, and I know you didn't sign up to listen to this. I get it. But my mom speaking to me with this media made me feel like, okay, Mia, you need to start moving on and you need to start making decisions in your life. I needed to hear that. And now I'm looking at my relationship like, okay, this is probably where I'm stagnant and I need to make a change. I wonder what's going to happen. So Sierra stops by West's room to get him for coffee. And he and Jesse, like once she leaves the room, they kind of freak out to each other like, oh my God. And Jesse's like, she came to get you. And Wes is all sick under his breath. And I was just rolled my eyes. So Sierra comes downstairs in her boating outfit looking like the goddess that she is. And Carl says, holy smokes. And she explains that she's heading to the boat dock early with West. And Carl is like, okay. Meanwhile, Ben's on the phone with Sabrina upstairs, who's telling him that she had a dream that somebody in the house gave him a hand job. Poor Sabrina. Poor Sabrina. Amanda really got in her head. And how could she not? How could she not? So Sierra and Wes arrive at the cafe by the boat dock while we see a split screen of their castmates at home having a collective freak out about the fact that they're already at coffee because they know that they're probably talking. How could they be cool about it? Like it was devastating blow to the entire house, and everyone knew it was going to have an impact. So this is what's happening. So Wes and Sierra sit down, and Wes tells Sierra, I woke up before my alarm went off because I was antsy. And I was like, I bet you did, dude. Good. Your body knows what you did was wrong. This is an appropriate reaction that you're having. My therapist is always talking about like appropriate shame and appropriate. There's like dirty shame and then there's clean shame, you know? And dirty shame is when I'm beating myself up and like making myself feel bad about something. And clean shame is when I actually do something, an action that resulted in affecting somebody negatively, someone that I care about usually. And if I'm feeling bad about that after the fact, if I'm looking back on my actions and like sitting in the discomfort of what I did, that's absolutely okay. Don't go overboard. Don't like use it as a way to like, flagellate myself after the fact for a long time. But like if I'm sitting in the consequences of my choice, that's okay. That's going to help me learn next time, And she's right. So Sierra kicks off the conversation in earnest, saying, it's been 2 years of nothing really being said. I'm almost scared to be nice to you. I'm scared to be myself around you because I'm afraid of being embarrassed. Last weekend was so weird because the very thing I was most afraid of happened. You sat right next to me and didn't see me. And we see a flashback of Emmy sitting on Wes's lap while he's sitting next to Sierra. And she tells him it was very triggering in this whole cycle of whatever the fuck our relationship is. And he says, subjecting you to that was fucked up and I am apologizing. And I wrote, no, he's not. Because I don't think what he's doing is apologizing here. Well, I'll get there. She says, I was thinking about things over this week, and I don't mean to bring it up to rehash, but in terms of talking to the press and media, that was almost the nail in the coffin. It felt like you really downplayed our entire relationship. And honestly, the wording you used, we're not each other's people, I really did consider you my best friend. I feel like we had such a great friendship, and that's the part that was so hurtful about it. Because I don't call people my best friend lightly, and I don't have the type of relationships that I had with you, with everyone. It felt like I didn't know you because I didn't expect that from you. So she's like pouring out her heart, and she's being very, very specific, going back to how it felt for her after they broke up and he talked about their relationship in the press. And he says, hearing you say the words back to me kind of makes me really sad. Okay, this is an exhibit of him being detached. He says, hearing you say the words instead of hearing you say my words back to me. I think that matters. Maybe someone doesn't think that matters. I feel like that's very deliberate. I feel like that is his way of making it not as bad. He can't take the gravity of the pain that he's caused. He can't grapple. He cannot sit with the responsibility of what his choices did. So he has to detach himself a little bit by using the word the instead of my. I don't know. I don't think I'm nitpicking. Maybe someone else does, and that's okay. Sierra says, I apologize for not, this broke my heart. Sierra says, I apologize for not texting you and not being there for you. I can take accountability for not being there for you when you probably needed it. Dude, disagree hard. I'll get there. I feel like this wouldn't be the situation if we didn't have all the cameras or fans or anything. It would be a lot simpler, but it just hasn't been. And I just, like, Sierra, this is not your fault, dude. He says, I know what my phone looks like, and it's so many people talking about you and I, comparing us or talking shit on me. Emphasis mine. It's super nasty. And then he says, your natural instinct is to resent the person who everyone is shitting on you about. When in reality, you and I aren't doing any of it. It's such a weird thing. So again, he used your natural instinct to just resent the person who everyone is shitting on you about. He didn't say my natural instinct. He said your. Again, exhibiting a detachment from what he did. My opinion, my projection. So she validates him and says, I feel like it muddies the waters of how we actually feel about each other. And she's fully crying at this point. And she says, I do miss you as my friend. And he says, yeah, me too. It's really hard. How can I not? and he wipes away a tear that I didn't see. I don't like him. I don't like him. I didn't see a tear. I don't know if I didn't see the tear because I don't like him, or I don't know if I didn't see the tear because he didn't have one. We all know a lot of people on these Bravo shows like to look like they're wiping away tears that aren't there. We've been around this block. Sierra says, I don't want people talking bad about you or saying mean things to you because you're not a bad person, and I've never thought you were a bad person. Last year, I didn't think I was ready to be in this space. And this year, I'm a little tired of having to carry it and act a certain way. I want to be able to let my guard down, and I want to be normal around you. But it's hard because I don't know what that even looks like. Oh, bless. She's so earnest. She's so fucking earnest. And Wes says, I obviously can still feel that you do have clearly a lot of walls up, and I hate that. When you told us about the house in North Carolina, I know that story more than anyone at that table, and I wanted to talk to you about it and tell you how fucking proud of you I was. And I knew we weren't going to talk about it. Okay, so this goes back to what Josh said earlier. What, I ask you, what would have happened to him? What would have happened to his ego? What would he have risked if he had just said to her, I am so fucking proud of you. I know how much that meant to you, and I know how hard you worked for that. What would that have done? But he couldn't do that. He couldn't even put that out there. Fuck you, West, you wimpy piece of shit. You fearful little fucking boy. That's what Josh was talking about. He couldn't do it because of his ego. That just would have been something to say to a friend. Why would that be so hard to say to somebody? God, think about it. That is completely benign. No risk at all. No risk. So what I'm saying to you guys is that 5 minutes ago, we saw fucking Ben, able to put ego aside and tell his friend the truth that he sees about him. In this scene, we see West not being able to, he admitting that he couldn't tell his friend how proud he was of her. That's nothing. Fuck that guy. Ew, not interested. Those moments are really hard. Even if we never talk again, I want you to know that I'm sorry for everything that obviously really hurts. Now that it's been a long time, I had a lot of time to reflect on the family stuff. I don't want to say sorry to you for bringing you home and doing all that, because that meant a lot to me and it was fun. He's referring to when he brought her home to meet his Midwest family. Okay? He took her home to the farm. I think we all know that it's a pretty significant thing when someone that you're dating takes you to meet their family. This is what KJ's saying. Actions speak louder than words. In that action, anyone, I would say that to my friends. I'm sure my friends would say it to me, like, oh my fucking God, if you're meeting the parents, holy shit. You know what I mean? So he says, I wasn't thinking about how impactful things like that could be. And I know that was probably such a mindfuck. I want you to know that I've thought a lot about that. I understand a lot of things better than I did. I see you more. And as soon as he said, I see you more, editors layered on this really stressful, tense string music over the rest of their conversation. The words they're saying, you would think would be like to a more gentle, kind of a score, but instead it's this like really tense, swelling music. And he says, I'm happier when you and I communicate. And she agrees. And she smiles. She just softened. And he even commented on her smile. And he says, we should move forward around your boundaries. I could be your best friend tomorrow. And she starts crying. And while this tense music is playing, she says, can we just be best friends again? And they hug and she's crying. And I just wrote, oh, Sierra. And he can't handle the inherent discomfort of the situation. So he says, I also knew you weren't going to make out with Jesse. And they both laugh. He breaks the ice because he has to. He can't hang. He can't hang in that discomfort of the vulnerability. Ugh. She tells him that I was pissed that you said you didn't care. And Wes is like, what was I going to do? And she earnestly says, stop it. Save me. My thoughts on this scene is that I did not think that he was really taking anything that she was saying in. First of all, he wasn't making eye contact with her the majority of the time. He was looking away or looking down, but he wasn't looking at her. I've already talked about the word choices that he's made. He made very detached word choices versus very specific to him word choices. And I was super grossed out to just like to hear him talking about why he made the decisions to talk about her in the press. I don't think he had to retaliate in the press just because she wasn't returning his calls at that time. That's not her fucking fault, dude. She had just gone home to meet his family, and then they broke up. And she's taking space to herself because they broke up. And because of that, he decides to go scorched earth in the New York fucking Times. That she's even talking to him or willing to film with him speaks to her character, not his. Yeah, he's deflecting. He's detached. I don't know. My heart broke and I felt so sad that Sierra felt she had to apologize. She was taking space and she wasn't doing anything to disparage him. He's a coward and I'm ashamed of myself for wanting them to get back together. I'm just going to say that right now. He is a coward and I am ashamed of myself for wanting to get back together or thinking that he grew. Yeah. You know, when we were watching about it last night, Josh also doesn't believe that West, when he said he wanted to talk to Sierra about buying her grandparents' house, he doubted that West could ever even just set aside his ego to say that. And he also observed that Sierra seems sincere and West does not come across as sincere. And he can't even look at her. And Josh thinks it's because he's not being sincere. That's the end of the episode. Dude, it's going to be heavy for the rest of the seasons. And it's wonderful and also so sad. And Jesse was on Watch What Happens live last night. And Jesse said that West worked really hard not to make Sierra upset. And I'm so disgusted by these two men continuing to say that West worked hard not to make Sierra upset because it is so not it. You either want to practice repair or you don't. Not making somebody upset is about you because you know that you're going to have to reconcile with somebody being mad at you and you don't want to sit there. He's a child. He's a child. I'll leave it at that. So, oh, wow. Anyway, let's see. What else did I watch? Oh, finished season 3 of The Gilded Age. So we're all caught up. And that show is so good. Oh my God, I started watching Ladies of London. Wow. I wish I could AR, VR that fucking show. I wish I could just like crawl into the TV. I wish I could go to a Ladies of London, The New Reign experience and just immerse myself in the clothes, the lipsticks, the shoes, the apartments, the houses, the places that they go to eat and drink and to have parties. I want everything. It's like a magazine I don't have to have in my lap or turn the pages on. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so entertaining. It's so beautiful. I don't know. I could not name one of these people. I've only watched one episode, but I thought it was stunning. Let's see. I watched Beverly Hills. Oh, I picked up Hacks again. I forgot. I stopped watching Hacks back in season 2. I don't remember why. Was it COVID? I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. And I know it's either ending or just ended. And I'm like, oh my God, if I don't start watching it again, it's going to get spoiled for me. Anyway, it's so good. And I love Jean Smart and Hannah Einbinder and the whole cast. The guy that plays a manager, Paul Downs, is that his name? And Megan, is that the assistant? Anyway, so good. And The Real House of Beverly Hills. Wah, wah. That was the finale? Oh, God. And they canceled Miami. Or sorry, put it on pause. What? What is happening? And then what was my antidepressant this week? Okay. Josh and I threw a fundraiser at our house in the backyard on Saturday night, and everyone seemed to have a really good time. I've been challenged by projects like this lately, and I did it, and I had fun doing it, and I asked for help doing it, and that is a big deal. That's a big deal. The party was a karaoke party, so we had a karaoke DJ here, and it was really wonderful seeing adults play. Adults don't play. Kids really don't give a shit what they look like up to a certain age. They make up these wild games that make no sense. They do all this stuff. It's so adorable watching them, but we don't do that really as adults, right? A karaoke you do, because we're not professional singers getting up there and singing, but we're just fucking getting out there and doing it. And everyone had a great time, including me. So it was a beautiful night out. Let's see, I had therapy this week, and I'm just practicing being gentle, practicing doing really simple things, practicing what my therapist told me to do. I think I shared it last week. Whatever you want to do, Ramona, do the opposite. Like, you want to scroll, take the shower, take a walk, do the thing that you don't want to do, It's been nice. So yeah, that was my antidepressant quasi gratitude list, I guess, So thanks, everybody. I appreciate you listening. And I guess I invite you to the same. If you want to practice, if your inclination is to pick up the phone and scroll, do something else instead. I don't know. Drink some water. Whatever it is for you, just be gentle and kind to yourself. Practice being gentle and kind. Practice being gentle and kind. How about that? Okay, everyone. I send you guys lots of love. Margie, I love you. Can't wait to see you again. And I'll be back next week. You better believe I'll be back next week. You better believe it. Oh, I sound like Lisa Rinna right now. Ew. All right. Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.